And we're monkeying around at the Ape Academy.
Let's get things started.
But first, more sneaky shooting from Rainbow Six. Tom Clancy's brand of intense political thrillers have sold books by the skipload. Some have even found their way onto the big screen. Clancy's one of the world's most famous authors, but we're far more concerned with the games he lends his name to. One of those games has just stormed back onto consoles. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Lockdown is the latest in the long line of squad-based shooters. This time, Rainbow's being given the runaround by a bunch of bad guys known as the Global Liberation Front. These fellas are rotten to the core.
We're landing now.
Rainbow is in position.
Let's go, let's go.
Playing again as Rainbow regular Ding Chavez, you command squads of up to 3 elite operatives using a quick menu or voice commands.
We're in position. Tango sighted.
Rainbow now seems to be an equal opportunities task force, so teams often include female soldiers.
Oh, you know, Raymond, this would be so boring if it were not for my beautiful partner.
You never give up, Loisel.
A new aspect of the single-player campaign is the occasional need to become Dieter Weber, the team's expert sniper. His job is to cover the rest of the team as they move towards their target, and this long-range support role brings some welcome gameplay variety.
This is Weber. The situation is under control.
The Rainbow team also has useful new pieces of kit. The heartbeat sensor detects unseen bad guys, enabling you to plan the focus of your assaults in advance. Even without this gizmo, enemy targets in view are highlighted.
Tango down.
And as a result, Lockdown's missions are more action-orientated and less reliant on tactics. Over the years, this series has become phenomenally popular online. This edition's multiplayer options include 4 different team games as well as cooperative split-screen modes. We'll give Lockdown a 4 out of 5. The Rainbow Six are still at the top of their game, and there's yet to be a rival tactical shooter to challenge them. In the past, if you saw a girl at a gaming event, the chances are she was probably lost. But times are a-changing. In its 3rd year of competition, the Electronic Sports World Cup in France is shaking up the all-male world of pro gaming. This year alone, 24 female clans took part in a Counter-Strike tournament.
It's a really nice initiative, I think.
Yeah.
It's about time. Because no, there are quite a lot of girls playing now, so it's growing.
I think it's great that female gamers are evolving. I mean, just getting integrated into the gaming society because we need more women. I mean, hey, who would say no to a beautiful computer nerd girl or whatever?
It's hard to have a bad reaction. I mean, they're so good looking. Everywhere you look, you know, nice girl, these French girls, Spanish girls, everything is great. And as to them actually playing in a tournament, I think it's great. I don't really have a problem with it.
At an event that's more about your skill with a mouse than your physical prowess, some gamers question the necessity for a female-only competition.
I'm not for dividing these tournaments into guys and girls. I'm playing because I was asked, so, and I said, okay, I could do that with her and so on. But normally, I'm very much against the dividing female and male.
I think it's a fun idea, but I don't think
I don't think it will be serious, as serious as a guys' tournament. I think it's better if a girl wants to be a serious console player, she should play with the guys.
This is for once a sport where the computer, the screen doesn't care if you're female or a male, doesn't care if you're 15 or 40. So, and the guys' tournament is not closed for women. Women are free to compete in that tournament as well, but they don't do it because they're chicken.
Despite many guys thinking the world of professional gaming is their sole domain, the first ever pro gamer was in fact a woman. No, not her. In the late 90s, Stevie Killcreek Case was fragging all before her, but a lack of events targeted specifically at women effectively killed off the girl gaming scene.
Traditionally, boys are raised to be more competitive and so on, and they play Nintendo. They get Nintendos when we get Barbies, traditionally, like that.
They make Sims for girls.
But for tension and great gameplay, this year's girls' Counter-Strike tournament offered as much bullet-riddled action as the guys. After 4 days of competition, the 24 clans were whittled down to just 2. The American girls got game, and Brazil's ladies AMD. Despite being one of the tournament outsiders, Girls Got Game pulled off a bit of an upset, winning a close final 16-10, much to the delight of their fans. As well as the prestige of being world champions, the girls also found themselves $10,000 richer.
It feels great. We're just overwhelmed right now, and I don't think it's hit us yet that we actually won.
So what was the secret of their success?
I think it's just being prepared, so it made us confident, and we weren't exactly nervous or scared. It's just a lot of practice. It's just practice. Practice makes perfect, I suppose.
And with all this extra practice and the Women's Counter-Strike tournament becoming a regular feature at the ESWC, it's not going to be too long before female gamers prove themselves deadlier than the male. Next up, our spies have gathered all the gaming gossip and news right here. This is Spam Filter. Gravel voice super spy Sam Fisher is finally making the move from video game to big screen. The Splinter Cell star has been attached to several movie projects in recent years, but Fisher's owner Ubisoft are about to sign a deal with DreamWorks Pictures to make a Splinter Cell flick. Sam's creator, spy author Tom Clancy, will act as an executive producer on the movie, but there's still no word on casting for the gruff shadow creeper. Millions of Zelda fans are currently gnashing their teeth and wailing in dismay. The latest Zelda epic, The Twilight Princess, has been delayed. Nintendo reckon they're going to spend extra time developing and adding new content. A big disappointment for Ninty fans who played the game earlier this year at the E3 Expo. Ah well, I guess we'll have to wait until early 2006 to get our next Link fix. Atari's latest foray into street culture games has enraged pressure groups in America. Mark Echo, Contents Under Pressure, follows the exploits of a graffiti artist as he tags his way around a city. Anti-graffiti campaigners in the States have complained the game promotes destruction of property. The groups are asking US authorities to give the game the most restrictive rating possible when it's released later this year.
Oh, Mighty One, please heed our call in this hour of need.
It's sad, but in most major religions, the time eventually comes to lay down the priestly wisdom, sacred texts, and the quiet life in general, and start sticking it to people. Even though its predecessor was seen as the ultimate God game, such unhappy facts still affect the forthcoming Black and White 2. War looms large, and before you start building cheery little temples, your enemies will be incinerating your worshippers. Like the first game, your first act as Celestial Highness will be to choose a representative creature. Black and White 2 is still very much about the balance of good and evil, so your creature can turn out as a cute bumpkin or a pillaging war machine. Most of them In any case, the wolf is all new. After that, it will be a case of establishing a human community. People have similar basic needs, namely food, shelter, and companionship. Your role as the Almighty will be to create disciples to supply these basics and watch your homestead thrive.
Thank you, Great One, for welcoming us into your magnificent town.
Then, of course, things get nasty.
No.
This time, you'll be able to build armories, recruit soldiers, and spend a lot of time invading other people's villages.
We've taken over the town!
If you thought the original was pretty, then your jaw will go all wobbly when you see the sequel. Dramatic swoops and hyper-detailed landscapes are impressive even at this early stage. We'll be able to tell you whether this particular God game has finally crossed the divide into the mainstream when it's released towards the end of the year. Still to come, gridiron grappling in Madden NFL 2006. Unfinished monkey business in Ape Academy. And the undead dine out in the Wild West in Darkwatch. That's all after the break.
eBay sponsors gadgets and gaming.
Welcome back to Gamer TV. Now, get ready to tackle the toughest sports sim around, Madden NFL 06.
Janikowski is just about ready to kick this one away. Good distance.
With John Madden, the face of EA's American football franchise, celebrating his 70th birthday next year, it's comforting to note that the video game empire to which he lent his name shows no sign of crumbling.
Clark is there for the tackle. Just about 3 yards on the toss play.
Now we have the latest all-format revision of this long-running simulation series, Madden NFL 06. This time around, new features have been implemented to allow greater control of the offensive side of the game. The new passing system, known as QB Vision, highlights the area of the pitch that your quarterback can see as he prepares to make a pass. Throwing the ball to teammates in this zone is much more likely to result in a successfully received pass than if they're outside this area. Combined with the new precision passing moves, this adds a dash of realism. Another addition is Superstar Career Mode. Here you'll create a player and guide them through their footballing life, dealing with everything from agents to barbers and IQ tests. Good luck with those.
Hi, it's Jason. We just got that IQ score and, not good.
This edition still looks impressive, but the familiar TV-style presentation of the game has advanced as far as current hardware allows. We'll need to look ahead to the forthcoming Xbox 360 version for any real improvements in that area. EA secured exclusive rights to the NFL last year, so this will be the only game in town for gridiron fans. It's just as well then that the Madden-endorsed games have traditionally been among the best on offer. 2006's version is no exception, so we'll give it 4 out of 5.
They're both on the same page, and they get a touchdown.
You'd think that apes are born with all the life skills they need, right? Well, you'd be wrong. There's an institution where young apes are sent to become super simians.
Welcome to Ape Academy.
This spin-off from Sony's Ape Escape series has just dropped onto the PSP, and it's all about training chimps in the art of monkey business.
Let's get things started. Sergeant
After finishing induction and workout, led by the Sergeant Major like Red Monkey, it's straight down to work.
Get this show on the road. Pick yourself a panel.
You're presented with a grid of 9 panels and have to stop a random selector to choose your lesson. Each lesson takes the form of one of over 45 mental mini-games. Just like human schools, subjects vary from the brain-tickling to the physically demanding. Your student will have to study everything from answering quick-fire multiple-choice quizzes to mountaintop fights to the death. You'll soon come to realise that you're better at some of these modules than others. The key to graduating is to make noughts and crosses style lines of 3 lessons you've passed.
You passed! I'm so happy for you!
For multiplayer education, there's the Wi-Fi versus mode for up to 4 students. 2 players can also share a single PSP, with one taking the D-pad and the other using the buttons opposite. As is often the way with party games, some elements work better than others. Thankfully, Ape Academy's highlights provide enough fun to compensate for the less enjoyable bits. We'll give it 4 out of 5. Monkeys are always a gaming winner, and this one makes the grade thanks to sheer silliness. Few genres are as enduring as racing games. But racers weren't always this easy on the eye. These games have had a radical makeover since their introduction way back in 1976. The pace car for the racing genre was a little-known game called Night Driver. The only trouble was it didn't actually have a car. Instead, it had a sticker which attached to your screen. It had the overall look of an optician's test rather than a racing game. 1982 saw Pole Position make it onto the grid. Thankfully, this time you had a car, which you used to power around the Fuji circuit. This was the age of the arcade racer, and one title above all others held a special place in gamers' hearts. Outrun confirmed the Ferrari Testarossa as one of the coolest cars of the 80s, as well as giving gamers a blonde driving companion.
You looked good playing it. It looked good to play, it felt good to play. I think the biggest influence that Outrun had was the total proliferation of driving games in the arcade, and it felt as if one stage you would be able to go into an arcade and not play some kind of driving game.
Arcades gave us more classic games like Virtua Racing and Daytona USA, but Daytona's introduction in 1994 would prove to be the last great arcade release in a pivotal year for the racing genre. The PlayStation brought 3D racing to home consoles and helped kill the classic decade of arcade racers. Titles like Ridge Racer and Wipeout not only created franchises that would define the next era of racing games, but also defined the PlayStation as a product. Success of the console racer saw the launch of even bigger titles with an emphasis placed on realism and branding. Top driving names, teams and cars were snapped up in the quest for the true driving experience. Sony gave us the Formula 1 licence, while Colin McRae brought us the most convincing rally licence. But perhaps the biggest title for licensing was Gran Turismo. It was Gran Turismo 3 with its options for endless tweaking and thousands of original car licenses that summed up the future of racing titles.
We really go to town on the modelling of the cars. That allows us to create something that people do recognise. Similarly with the racing tracks, they've always been designed to provide an exciting and realistic driving experience.
The only problem was you couldn't damage the cars. Something that wasn't an issue for the last great racing franchise of this generation. The Burnout series gleefully revelled in automotive destruction. Dangerous driving elevated to an art form from the safety of your armchair. The birth of the next generation consoles will see an even bigger leap in racing thrills, while also proving there's life in some of the older franchises yet. Proving that we've come a long way, driver. The link between cowboys and vampires is well established, i.e., there isn't one. But in video games, who says you can't play a hard-working rancher who's disturbingly keen on snacking on his horse? The forthcoming Dark Watch will have all these scenes and more. What's weird is that the guy doing all the chewing is the hero, Jericho. The Old West, it seems, has replaced its population of old men singing tiresome songs with skeletal zombies. It's up to you to re-kill them. We've only played the opening levels so far, but even these display an enviable variety. Jericho moves from misty first-person shooter levels to wildly exciting rides on his reanimated horse. The bad guy, Lazarus, seems particularly nasty too, if only for his ability to sprout wings and chase you. Being an evil vampire, of course, you'll have special abilities of your own. Blood vision, for example, will allow you to pick out your enemies in the dark. Night vision for the undead, if you like. His arsenal looks like it's going to be pretty impressive too. Shotguns, pistols, carbines, crossbows, and a dinky but deadly gun called the Redeemer will all figure. This also seems to be one of the few shooters coming up with a genuinely devastating melee attack. Dark Watch will be released around October, but we're quite excited now, actually. This looks like it might just be a slick arcade antidote to all those protracted missions and fiddly puzzles. I could be wrong, and if I am, bite me. As the sun sets on the prairie, we're heading back to the bunkhouse. But join us next time for more Gamer TV.
No, no, no!
We're clearing out this room for our new baby. I really hope it's
delivered to my work address. Perfect.
No, non l'ha fatto.
Sì, l'ha fatto.
Ma non l'ha fatto.
Sì, l'ha fatto.